All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the fifth episode of the show where we talk about anything and everything about L&D. This is the Trainers Lounge, presented by Circological Group and CLDP Philippines. All right, Ed. Good afternoon again, and thank you so much for tuning in and basically following us here on our show. And don't forget to always like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find our videos there under the Circological Group YouTube channel. And also don't forget to follow our pages on Facebook. You can check Circological Group and also CLDP Philippines. Alright, today's episode is timely. That's what I could say about it. It's timely because since the pandemic hit us, every industry had to adjust in some ways. And in the L&D industry, we had to adapt to another type of setup when it comes to training and developing our employees, our teams, or our companies. And today's topic is all about diverse classrooms. All right, so how can you develop and how can you train in diverse and hyper distributed classroom setups? And today, helping me discuss the topics and questions about this new trend is a very special friend of mine. All right, let's go ahead and check who our guest is for today. So at current, he is the talent development head of Tata Consultancy Services Philippines Incorporated, and he is affiliated or accredited in the following certifications. He is a chartered professional in human resources and also a certified learning and development professional. He is also a Lean Six Sigma Green Belter. And at current, he's had 14 years. Wow, that's quite long. He's had 14 years of experience when it comes to training and developing companies. And at the same time, he has a overall of 19 years of BPO experience or training and working in the BPO industry. Wow, that's quite long. So he's been living and working locally here in the Philippines, and he was able to share his expertise and his knowledge with Filipino employees, and also he developed and helped them become more aware in the workplace etiquettes and basically training. And he also lives with his mom and his pup, Bucky. Oh, that's so cute. So he is a fur parent, just like me, who he considers is their lifeline. All right, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Abhishek Chatterji. All right, Mr. Abhi, are you there?
Hi, Kevin.
Oh, there you go.
Kevin, I'm not able to hear you.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I apologize. I was muted on my end. All right, technology. All right, good afternoon again and welcome to the Trainers Lounge. How are you doing?
I am doing really well. Thank God that I'm breathing and I'm able to talk to you. And I'm here safe at my home right now. Work from home is the new norm.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Doing well. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah. It is. We need to be thankful because, even though it's been a year almost, the threat of this pandemic is still out there, right? It's still evident, and a lot of companies turned or transitioned into work from home setups, and for us trainers, that meant adjusting as well.
A lot of adjustment.
Yeah, I know, right?
Trainers did do virtual training, Kevin. Remember we were talking about it during our CLDP program also.
Yeah.
Jeff Garcia, that we always did. It's not that we did not do it, especially the BPOs, the IT teams. So there were virtual classroom trainings that happened. But to the extent that it has to happen now, which is like every day, every hour of the day, I think that is something none of us were really ready for. So it's a huge adjustment to make.
Yeah, I know. Well, I hope you can share with us today your experience and your expertise in handling different kinds of classrooms, especially in the setup that we are in right now. And let's get into it. Well, before we go further on how you handle things, let's discuss first maybe what are the new terms or what are the new things about the setups that we have for training. So when we say diverse classroom, what do you usually mean by that?
Oh, great. I think that's a perfect question to start with because now what has happened is that you cannot decide whom you're going to train. I mean, not that you could decide earlier also, but earlier you know that you are going to physically train certain people, right?
Yeah.
You have a class of 10, you can only have a class of 20, max 25, 30, 50, right? As many as those who can fit in a room. So it's actually given to the capacity of the room, the seating capacity of the room.
Yeah. Well, how many are seated? That's well, you already know, right?
Correct. Now, Kevin, there is no capacity of the room. There is a virtual classroom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think Zoom has a capacity of 1,000 users at one
It
call.
does. It
I
does.
think
It does.
I think that's the maximum.
Business, yeah, the business, the cost-oriented model. The free model, I think, has a capacity for 30, 35. I think that's the limit that it has. However, the businesses are acquiring these licenses for the virtual platforms, and they want to utilize one training and have multiple people join in, so that in one go you're able to cover a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening is that previously, if, for example, Kevin was training and Kevin would be training a group of 20, 25 people within Manila in the classroom, right? Physical classroom. In the virtual classroom, what's happening is Kevin could be training somebody from Cebu, somebody from Manila, some people from Visayas more and more from Card region, you know. So it's so diverse right now. And for all you know, Circa Logica, again, or going back to CLDP, they're all international groups. You could be training somebody sitting in the UK who wants to attend during this time.
Yeah.
You could be training somebody in India who wants to attend during this time. So diverse classroom is the norm now. A trainer cannot really go prepared by thinking, okay, so I'll be cracking jokes about, let's say, celebrities from Visayas only, celebrities from Philippines only. No, you have to think about the diversity in the classroom. So the geographical diversity is really one of the aspects. It's not even all of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, before when we say diverse classroom, we're talking about the different styles of the learners inside the classroom, right? In one sitting.
Yep.
But now
Yep.
you also have to consider the geography of the learners, right? Because the access to the internet, or well, yeah, basically the web, gives us the opportunity to connect real time, even though we're not together in one room. So now, in training setup, when we say diverse, we not only have to consider our, well, the classroom's profile per se, like if they're old, if they're new, if they're from this certain culture, but you also have to consider now their location.
Correct. Previously diverse was all about the experience that they have, the learning styles that they have. Or probably it could just be the fact that, the diversity in education that they've had, right? But now diversity has gone beyond that. I also consider the diversity of, of different genders and all, but I really feel I think that conversation is going to be soon very passé, because now we are going to move into larger diversity here, wherein a trainer is going to get into really the challenging zone of how do you get the message across without using one particular language, without using reference to one particular culture. How well versed are you about the world, about the planet, is really the challenge for trainers now.
Yeah. And that was actually one of the key things that we talked about with Mr. Alvin before in our episode with him, where we talked about inclusion, right? So once
Right.
you start considering diversity, you now have to consider inclusion, where
True.
where everyone is treated fairly, and I think even the location is now considered. You have to include people who cannot be physically with you or be with you during your training or during your talent development.
Yeah.
Uh, and also, you mentioned a new term that, admittedly, it was quite new to me. Right? It's called hyper-distributed classroom. So, what is that? Let us let the audience know what is that.
So to my fellow CLDP friends who are here and to Kevin, this term has been actually used a lot and it's been used for a long time now. Where is it used usually? It's used in the IT sector or any
Mm,
creative sector, designing sector, development sector, where the team is not located centrally.
I
So,
see.
Kevin, what's
Mm-hmm.
happening is that now this is happening with everyone. Now, this is becoming the structure of every team. Previously, what would happen? So, I'll give you an example. There's a company which is a large giant. We use the search engine of that large giant, okay,
Mm-hmm.
without taking the names. So, we use the search engine a lot. All of us do that. That company had actually set the norm of hyper distributed teams
Mm.
because they would have one project and would have 10 team members. Those 10 team members are working out of probably 5 countries. So
Okay.
none of them have physically met
Each
each
other.
other
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're all working towards the one project that they will achieve.
Mm.
So the term largely comes from agile scrum. So as you know, scrums are different types, and agile methodology, which is the your project management, product development methodology,
Mm-hmm.
which has taken over from the waterfall methodology, which used to be more regressive methodology of developing products. And agile is now becoming a framework that is being followed by companies across the globe, especially during the 2020 pandemic. It's such a fortunate thing if a company had already adapted to agile methodology, if they were already talking about agile methodology. So few companies, few organizations did that. A lot of BPOs did that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And those who did not do that, they had to adopt to agile methodology. So agile talks about you don't have to be present at the same place. You don't have to necessarily be together and centrally located.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand the customer. You have to be flexible. You have to be adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that the customer is the king, definitely, but the market
Yeah.
is mightier.
I
Market
see.
is mightier. And the team needs to be self organized, Kevin. That's the beauty of agile methodology. The team decides what they want to do. So, Kevin, Abhishek, Jeff, Alvin, they will not be told what they have to do. They will pick the task they will do to achieve the end goal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see.
It's self-organized, hyper-distributed teams. Now, what's happening in the classrooms is that the trainer is getting team members or the trainees in the classroom who are hyper-distributed. So while they're all learning the same course, they're all learning the same team.
Yeah.
So this could be a course for 1 month, this could be a course for 3 days, 4 days, 2 days, but they're all learning together in different time zones.
Well, I think it is quite new in a sense that a lot of companies haven't experienced, working in different places or having their employees working from different places. But yeah, in the BPO industry, it's quite normal. Teams can connect even from other countries. But yeah, when the Philippines was hit with the lockdown, or yeah, when everyone was forced to go home and work there, it was a new concept for a lot of companies, right? So can we consider still a small company whose employees, well, they are located within the same region, but yeah, but they don't physically meet each other. Can we still consider them as hyper distributed classrooms?
Yes, they could be. So if they are, let's say they're all in Manila, but they're not meeting each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all staying in different zones and
Yeah,
working
yeah.
from home.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Ah, I
Absolutely.
see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that has now become the new norm. Well, for a lot of companies, if not all, but still, I remember when I was I was still a teacher when the pandemic hit, and well, I'm used to teaching inside a classroom, right? Facing all of the students in one classroom. And when the pandemic hit back then, we had to go home because well, we were forced to. Now the challenge
Mm.
was how should I teach these students within their homes, and the internet was there to save us all, but still we had to adjust to a lot of things.
That's true. That's true.
We had to adjust to a lot of things, and when I transitioned into corporate training to teaching in the corporate setup, I had a bit of an experience because I was teaching, as I said, but still, it was different. I'm still used to the face-to-face setup, and when things went, when things went down, I was forced to adapt as well. So at least it's now better for us to understand what are the different things, or how can we identify if we are in a hyper distributed classroom. All right. Well, up next, we also have to consider, or we have to discuss the concept of virtual classrooms, right?
Right. Right.
A lot of people think that virtual classrooms are a new thing, but is it true or false? Is the concept of virtual classroom new?
So the virtual classroom, okay, I'm going to take it from here. I'm going to say that have we connected virtually with each other in 2005 over a Skype chat, right?
Yes.
Did we connect virtually with each other over a Yahoo chat, a video, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or we would have done a Google Hangout. I think that's what it is known as now,
Yeah.
which was there earlier as well, right? So a lot of this existed, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual is nothing but the cyberspace, right?
Yeah.
So when you connect through the cyberspace and utilize that digital connection and do either a video or a voice chat. Now, what took over the industry? So I'm talking about all the industries
Mm-hmm.
where the virtual connection or virtual conferences were utilized was primarily the WebEx. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Cisco WebEx, right? So Cisco
Uh-huh.
WebEx, yeah. So Cisco developed amazing platform for virtual connection. And Microsoft, of course, was not left behind because Skype was now moving to Link. So they were calling it Link, and Link got very popular. While these two really set the standards by 2013, they had set pretty good standards and very, very popular two tools that were there. Nobody really thought that you will be connecting every hour, every day. Again, what I said is we were not ready for making virtual as part of our lives. So a lot of freelance work happened. A lot of client connects will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And people used to connect for daily meeting or maybe a weekly meeting, maybe a monthly meeting. Classroom sessions would happen only on client request or wherever, you had to again train some hyper distributed teams or some virtual teams. So virtual sessions would happen on request. Now what has happened and what is virtual classrooms now? Why is it a big thing? The big thing is that now we don't have physical classrooms. I think the only physical classroom training that I've heard of in the last 1 year and which was mandated was the first aid training
Mm-hmm.
by a Red Cross. So the Red Cross team was very particular, and they're right because they said there's no way that we can move it virtually. We had to do foundation level training virtually, but most of it is physical. Rest everything, Kevin, has been moved to the virtual classroom. So move to the virtual classroom. So what is the difference there? Sorry about that. Now, in a physical classroom, a trainer would typically walk in, greet, sometimes shake hands, may not shake hands, smile, you know, talk, look at the class. Before the trainees come in, a trainer had the liberty of arranging the class in a certain way. You also arrange the seating. in your classroom. Virtual classroom, you don't have that liberty. In virtual classroom, your connect is only through what you see in the cyberspace and how you're connecting with each other. There is no shaking of hands. There is no little chit chat that you could do in the virtual classroom. So to adopt to the virtual classroom where you click the button, you wait for your trainees, you look at them, you set up your own house, your own space as a classroom. There are a million things going on. There are so many distractions now. At home, if you're at home, to work from home is not an easy thing. I remember one of my trainer friends saying, the most distracting thing at home? The bed.
I, it's
So
not only a distraction, but I think it's a temptation as well. But I kind of understand that. But well, yeah, as you mentioned, the virtual classroom has been around for quite a while, right? As long as we are connected in the cyberspace, or learning together. Also, it can be considered as a virtual classroom. But maybe can we point out some of the things that are different now?
yeah, yeah, sure. See, the biggest difference, as I said, is now you have to set up. Earlier, virtual classroom was done from the office to the office. It
Hmm.
was not expected to be done from home.
Home.
You know, so you would go to the office, and typically office will have one conference room, or it will have a video conference room, or you would be required to have a camera connected to your laptop or your desktop, right? If you remember the days when the desktops would have these webcams, separate webcams will be provided. So there are separate desktop setups that will be done in the office for these virtual classroom sessions. In fact, why should we go so far? I think those who are from BPOs here, from call centers here, they know that virtual connect classrooms have been there since almost 20 years now, Kevin. Because BPO industry is pretty old. It's more older than 20 years though.
Hmm.
I mean, I've been working for 19 years plus in BPOs. And we've had separate rooms which are dedicated to client conferences, client trainings, and the client is probably your client is in North America right now, and it's night time, and you
Yeah,
want to set up training. The client could be UK, the client could be Australia, right?
different
Uh,
time zones.
all of different time zones, and client trainings were also done virtually, Kevin, because cost effectiveness. It's
Yeah,
very cost
it's
effective.
it's very expensive to fly a trainer from one location
Yeah,
or from one country to another country
yeah,
just for a
very true.
single session.
Just for a single session. You know. And if you have to, sometimes you have to only train 10 people and think, oh, 10 people can be trained virtually. Why do I have to travel there? And then everything was available even then. So the technology is not new. Technology is not new. The level of investment that we are doing now is certainly new. The care that we have
Oh.
to do now is certainly new. And the aspect of working from home and everyone working from home. Previously we would only have a handful of people who will work from home, who were freelancers, or work from home moms, or work from home dads,
Hmm. Hmm.
or people who were taking care of the elders and decided to work from home, so the companies would make provision for them, or if I may say so, some PWDs, right,
Hmm.
who would
Hmm.
be granted to work from home. Now, welcome to their world. Everybody is in the lockdown and working from home. But you don't have a dedicated video conference room in the house. You don't have a dedicated conference room in the house. Forget about video conference, right? So what do? Because you have to train as a trainer. Your people want to see you, and you have to be very, very particular about being seen, because trainees get that experience when they see you. That's a connect that happens. If you don't see your trainer, you might get distracted, and there's a higher possibility, and actually it's more challenging to attain and retain the focus of your trainees in the virtual classroom than in the real classroom.
Yeah. I agree with you with that 100%.
So the basic thing that I need to take care of as a trainer is I need to make sure that I am safe. I need to be ready and I need to understand and embrace the technology. I have to embrace the technology.
Yeah.
Do I have a choice? Well, I have a choice. Don't do it.
But
And if you have to do it, then embrace it.
yeah.
It's as simple as that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Well, yeah, virtual classrooms are quite old. Well, in terms of industry wise, it's quite old. Yeah, it's been around for quite some time. But I think people's interpretation about it has changed as well, or maybe their level of knowledge as well, because they didn't experience it for when they were working before. They probably they been working in the same company for a few years and haven't experienced doing a virtual classroom setup, right? So yeah, it is there. It's not new. However, the level of necessity for it or the need for it has increased. All right. Well, speaking of which, I think the diversity in the classroom has been affecting virtual classrooms, or well, basically they go hand in hand.
Mm.
Um, but how can we fully identify what is diversity in a classroom or in the virtual classroom as well?
Well, so if we talk about diversity in the classroom or in virtual classroom, first of all, you have to understand um, you are the subject matter expert of the program that you're going to present, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that you're functionally strong. You have to comprehend the knowledge level first. So functionality is very, very important. Why am I talking about it? As I'll come to the point. Because if you are not functionally strong and if you're not well aware of the diversity, then there are two credibility errors you're going to make as a trainer. So it's going to be a big face loss, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So before you go for your program and prepare for anything else in the virtual classroom and get too bothered about the diversity, I would always recommend the trainers to prepare for the session well, functionally be ready, be credible. Now, when you are preparing your content, yes, you have to think about diversity. So what kind of diversity can you get? You have been, if it's your first session and you have not done this session before, you have to understand who could be your audience. Who could be your audience that you're talking to? It's very important because remember, a trainer is as good or as bad a salesperson can be of a particular company. Because you are talking about a product, a technology, a behavior, a theme. You are selling it to the trainees. So your credibility and understanding of that product is very important, or that knowledge base of that session is very, very important. The other thing you need to know is who's your audience, because you cannot sell without knowing your audience. So registrations that happen, Kevin, the biases can also come in. So here's my tip to the trainers: don't set any biases. Okay, I know there are trainers who would look at the registration, look at the last names, and think, oh, this person is from here. So that generalization comes into play. So even before I'm thinking of complementing to the diversity that I would have in my room, as at a subconscious level, I'm already working on generalizing them. I look at a name which is, probably more Chinese in origin, and I think, oh, this is a person from China or from that region. And for all you know,
He's
that's
been
a
living.
person yeah,
He's
a
been living there
Filipino.
locally for quite a while.
Yeah, he or she has been living in Philippines for as long as like 120 years. Their family was made and born here.
Yeah. I see.
And what would happen? I'll tell you my personal thought here, my personal experience. I started training in Philippines, so I'm pretty new to Philippines. I still say that I love lechon, I love lambano, but I think I'm still getting to know Philippines.
Well,
It's been 6 years now.
well,
Yeah.
just for our audience information, how long have you been training here in the Philippines?
It's been 6 years now.
6 years. Well,
Yes, now.
okay, okay.
Well, I mean, a year, it takes at least a year to settle down and adapt and, grapple in the dark. And then another year where you're really trying out everything that you have learned, and another year. So I really think this is my, not my advanced year, not my intermediate year. I still feel I'm in the foundation layer. I give myself that credit that I'm still learning. So going back to the story.
Yes, yes.
So I was pretty new here, and as always, I had the registrant list in my hand. So participants had registered. I had the list, and as every meticulous trainer would do, you get the list and you ensure who are your audiences. You send them the invite for the training.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
While you get the name, I saw the name, and there were two names that were Indian. And I thought that, wow, okay, so I have two Indians in the session. That's surprising, because we don't have too many employees from India here. And I was thinking, okay, that's going to be easy. Hey, that's going to be good. So when I went to the training room, it was not a virtual training room. It was physical training room, and I had a lot of people walk in, and I was saying hello to everyone, and I was waiting for the Indians to walk in. So I saw two people who looked more Indian, but they were talking in Tagalog. And guess what? That's what it was. They were actually Filipinos. So when I asked them, hey, so are you from India? And they said, no, we're from Philippines. Both of them have been in Philippines for as long as I said. They said from centuries they've been here. Their great, great, great grandfather had come here, and they were all born here. Their parents were born here. So it does not really help. It did not help me. It did not help me. And thankfully that by that time and as a nature, I was okay with it. I was fine because I wasn't really expecting a lot. How did I prepare myself when I came to Philippines is actually how I really learned to understand diversity. So India, as you know, India is a country with diverse cultures within itself. I say India is not one nation. India is not one word, one language. India is many languages. India is many cultures together. So diversity is almost fed into our system. So it's something that we are born with. So you know that you'll be talking to a person from the south of India, from the north of India, and from the central of India. And guess what, Kevin? All of them speak different languages. All of them. So my neighborhood was like that. So my neighbor this side was from the south, my neighborhood this side was from north. I am from the northeast, typically the language that I speak in India. So it's pretty easy, and we think we are very adaptable. And I think we are. I think certainly feel that we are. But when you come to Philippines, you should not expect anything. You should not generalize. Because what you read online and what you see here is so different. You read Philippines as all fun, you read Philippines as only beaches. When you come here, you realize, Kevin, I've had sessions where I was crying in the classroom.
Wow.
And why? Because when you ask people, so what has been your most touching moment or a moment you can never forget? And imagine a trainee who walks in and talks about how their family struggled during the Mount Pinatubo, the eruption that happened.
Yeah, the eruption back in the 90s.
Yeah, the 90s. And how they had to run, and this girl was a little child at that time, and they had to rush and run and leaving everything behind, and how she lost a pet during that time. I still remember, and still I get goosebumps when I talk about it. So every culture, every nation, every human being has their own story. That's one of the diversities we have to be very cognizant about. Diversity is the fact. Diversity is actually uniformity. So what is uniform here? The uniform rule of the universe is we will all have our own story.
Wow, that's kind of deep. Wow.
but it's true if you look at it,
Yeah, yeah, we do
Um,
have, in one way or another, we have our differences. You can't
yeah,
expect two persons to be exactly the same. Even twins have, you know,
true,
differences.
true, true.
I see, I see. So it's,
So,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, yeah. So I was just saying that. So instead of thinking about the differences of these people, why not treat them as one, right?
Correct.
Why not treat them fairly? Why not treat them the same way you would treat someone else, right? So instead of focusing on the diversity, it's kind of ironic, but yeah. Instead of focusing on the diversity, why not focus on how you can handle them as one? How you can treat them fairly as one?
True. What would you not want to say to yourself in the classroom and hurt
Mm-hmm.
yourself is exactly what you should do. Respect for the individual is one of the key mantras that we all follow, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It should be our mantra for life. Because if you respect, you will respect at all levels. You will be an egalitarian. You will not be hierarchical. Today, a lot of times it happens when a trainer is training and a senior leader is part of that training session as a participant. And some trainers get very conscious. Here's my tip, that is also managing diversity. You have people who are reporting to that senior leader within that same classroom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you have these senior leaders who are also in that classroom. So, what will you discuss and what will you not discuss? You have to be very, very careful about that. At the same time,
Mm-hmm.
remember you are the leader at that time. So, you have to make sure that you even lead them with provoking the right thoughts
Okay.
and not some wrong thoughts. For example, don't joke. Don't joke in front of that senior leader about, we should get salary hike if my performance is good.
Okay.
What have you done? You brought your level down in the classroom by saying that, and you gave that senior leader an upper hand. A. B. That senior leader is kind, but your other trainees, you never know. Now they are judging on your credibility.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things to happen when you're trained. I see, I see. Well, in terms of this topic as well, I think we have to also consider: is it related to DNI? Well, as we generally talk about it, or is it something else entirely?
They're all interrelated, Kevin. It cannot be different from it. It cannot be a different. It is an embodiment of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It cannot be completely a different entity, which it is not, right? So DNI particularly talks about inclusion, particularly talks about celebrating diversity, and precisely a trainer should be very happy with diversity in the classroom. It is such an amazing thing to happen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that. For example, if I have a person who is senior and has experience, make that person almost like your ally, your ally in the training room, almost like a co-facilitator in the training room. At the same time, don't overdo it because you have some pressures also that you have to address to, and you have to get the energy from the freshers. You have to utilize that, bring in that power from the freshers because they're energetic, they're curious right now. So use that curiosity in the classroom. Everybody is bringing in different flavor. For example, I had a classroom which was just last year, Kevin, when we started going completely virtual and we were training night shift. My fellow trainers were part of my team. A shout out to them, Bernice Manan and Cheddar Trinidad did so well in managing trainees who were from North America,
Mm-hmm.
from UK, from Australia. So we got trainees from all over the world. So our content that we were talking about of jokes, what do we crack, and I crack a lot of jokes. If I'm in a training program, I'm not laughing, I don't like it. So I usually talk about food, of course, my
Uh-huh.
favorite topic, and everybody laughs at it. And I always tell people that I look like Tom Cruise. We were twin brothers. We got separated at birth. And everybody was thinking, will Tom Cruise make everyone laugh? And actually, it made everybody laugh, thankfully, because I look like Tom Cruise, if you can see the face, right? So the match is there. Well, right, Kevin. You agree with that, though? I want to get a yes or no. So it works. You have to now when you pick up a celebrity, you have to think of a celebrity that works with all. So that is the diversity that you have to be really cognizant about. That is the content that you have to be cognizant about.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to larger content that you're talking about, for example, behavior is the same everywhere. Behavior is the same. Adaptability is the same everywhere. It's universal truth, you know. And remember that in training sessions, we are not talking about uh, we could be talking about microcultures, but largely now if you're going for a diverse classroom,
Mm-hmm.
go for as much as possible universal themes and macro level, as much as possible.
Well,
So for example, when you're discussing food, you should appreciate all the food, never berate any cuisine.
never be biased. Yeah, yeah.
Very, very careful about that. Rather than think, oh, don't make those faces, first of all. Oh, I don't like shrimp. Oh, I don't like food. How can people eat meat? You have to respect.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to respect. So respect for the individual remains the key here. And inclusion, definitely, D&I definitely remains of great importance, Kevin, because you have to invite new ideas. Diversity brings in new ideas, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So design thinking, user experiences, all of this, we celebrate diversity because it brings in new ideas, new values, new thoughts, and that's what is driving us today.
I see. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I agree with you. DNI works hand in hand with diversity, or diversity in the classroom, rather. And you cannot really put that away, and it's going to be there whether you like it or not. Now, well, we talked about the classroom, right? We talked about the setups, we talked about the trends before and today. Now let's talk about the behind the scenes, right? The things that we do behind the training execution itself. Now, how is content creation affected when we transitioned into virtual classroom? Has it impacted the kind of content that we use or the strategies that we use?
Yep, a lot.
A lot.
A lot. A lot. Oh my God. Um, when we really got into the you know gearing self gearing ourselves up
Mm-hmm.
and preparing for the pandemic virtual classroom mode, we were not ready. We realized we were not ready. Why do I say that? Is because the games, the activities, that we had were all for the physical classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was the mode of creating groups. You know, a lot of the training material that we have in the content, we write a lot of group activities. So especially the content creators put in group activities because these are experiential learning methodologies. And for adult learning, the experiential learning methodology works the best. You have to give them tasks and give them thoughts to work on and to create. So self-learning happens. And it's more like on-the-job learning. So while we did that, how do we create groups now? Where do we tell the people, hey, you go into your corner in virtual classroom, you go into your corner in virtual classroom. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then the apps, the platforms were still developing. So I remember we were using MS Teams. And MS Teams at that time did not have what we now call breakout rooms.
Ah, yeah. It's only one cyber location. You cannot break
Yes.
them up. You cannot break them up into their own cyber locations.
So you had them all centrally placed
Mm-hmm.
and you want to give them a group activity. So the content had to be changed. There's no group activity anymore for some time. Till the time you did not get the business to acquire the paid model for Zoom, which has breakout rooms, paid model for WebEx, Cisco WebEx, which has breakout rooms. So the paid models are definitely expensive and cost intensive, But at the same time, while they did have cost, they gave you a lot more.
Yeah.
A very simple thing, Kevin. I must tell you, in the content, it was written. So I remember doing this behavioral class where we were talking about, how do you inspire with your communication. And in that, there's an activity, very simple thing, is that the trainer elicits ideas from the classroom. So the content writer has written, trainer elicits ideas from the classroom
Mm-hmm.
and from the participants and writes them down on the board. Are you getting me? Such a simple thing.
Yeah.
We took it for granted in the physical classroom. In the virtual classroom, that writing is so difficult. I have to tell you. So for all my trainer friends, if you are comfortable with the whiteboard that is there, the digital
Ah,
whiteboard
yeah,
in
yeah.
different apps, even in Zoom we have that when you're doing the screen share. I am so glad that I mean I'm happy for you and kudos to you for those who can use it well. I had a challenge. I had a challenge. My fellow trainers, one of them was so good with it and learned the ropes so quick. I must give it to that person. I've already mentioned the name, but he's learned the rope so well and overnight and was able to do it well. But um, I had to also learn it. So gradually, I'm definitely there now. But yes, that was very, very challenging. So content had to be changed again. The mode of training has changed, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
When the mode of training has changed, the things that you do in that training and things that you can achieve the outcome from will also change. So the way you do the activities and what activities you do also change. Now in breakout rooms, you still don't get that feeling of the classroom, right? Even if you're able to create groups and spread them across, you have the experience, right? You have also done that.
Yeah, yeah,
So you have to
definitely.
go to each of the breakout rooms, you can enter them. When you go to one breakout room, you're not listening to the other at all. So you're disconnected. So as a trainer, imagine how difficult it is now. It has become all the more challenging, time consuming to actually get into each group, breakout room, listen to what they're doing. Are they following the right process? Are they reaching the consensus together? Are they really working in the right manner? You help them out, guide them, come out of there, go to the other breakout room. While in a classroom, you could just walk around and you knew what discussions are happening.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you pick it up and go, guys, good job. But I want you to also focus on this aspect. Now, no more.
It's quite difficult to do that all of a sudden or right off the bat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think also when you have experience teaching in a virtual classroom, you will notice the activities and the strategies that you have to do changes as well. Because I remember when I taught uh, a communications class, right, or training, how can I do group activities if I cannot physically separate them? Things like that, right? You started thinking about those things, like how can I deliver this kind of activity if I can't physically show them? Things like that.
True.
So you really have to adjust everything when it comes to planning for a virtual classroom. Now let's
Very
talk
true.
about the participants. The the setup change, the way we prepare the classes change. Now, has the participants changed as well, or rather, are they now aware that diversity in the virtual classroom is present and it's changing now? Are they aware, or how can we make them aware, or should we even make them be aware of this?
I think a great question. Because today, this could be a challenge, an opportunity, and
Mm-hmm.
actually a greater opportunity to bring in the world together, if I may say so. You know, to
Mm-hmm.
become more aware about who all do I live with on this planet. I'm going so deep. Why? Because a lot of the times when we would be joining a training session, we could see each other in the classroom. We knew who was sitting with me. We knew, okay, that guy, okay, that guy, all right, that girl, okay, that person. So we knew. Now, I can only see some names.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't go on video, I cannot see their faces. If in case they have a picture that has been placed in their profile, I can only see that. Why is it important? It's important because when I go into the breakout room, I don't know who am I talking to. Now
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
imagine at a participant's level, Kevin, the adaptability that they have shown, the agility that the participants have shown is immense. You know, we should really give the credit to all the trainees that we get, all the participants that we get who are eager to learn. And the fun part is they are more eager to learn now, right? They are more eager to learn now. They are willing to learn now. They are willing to
Mm-hmm.
learn in the virtual world. In fact, they have learned the beauty of virtual world is that there's less changes that they need to make. Some of the participants are telling me after this 1 year of experience, it's that now we like virtual training. Now our only concern is what if we are asked to go back to the office?
Yeah, actually, there have been some people who have requested for them to stay, permanently in a
Yeah.
work from home setup. I have I have seen people like that or employees like that.
So, do you make them aware? Yes. How do
Mm-hmm.
you make them aware? First of the things that a trainer can do is definitely you don't call out any one person. You don't do that. Never as a trainer. You don't make anybody feel, oh, today we have a North American with us. Today we have a Canadian with us. You don't say that. And you don't say out the name. You don't say, hey, today we have Kevin from Uruguay. Or we have Abhishek from Germany. Because we are not doing a pageant show here.
Yeah.
As a trainer, you're not doing a pageant show. Some trainers are very excited and they want to do the pageantry, and
Yeah,
they bring
yeah.
in that energy.
I've seen those
My
before.
question is avoid doing that. How do you do that, but you have to tell them, yes, you should do that. You should do it in a very gentle way, in a very genteel manner, which is like more of conversational and in the past. So you say, all right, so today we have participants from Uruguay, we have participants from Germany, we have participants from Canada, North America, we have participants from Manila, Philippines. Just because I get excited, I do that for Philippines, by the way. So I say mabuhay sometimes.
I see,
So,
I
and
see.
then I say
Yeah,
namaste for India. It's absolutely fine if you add in that energy, be respectful, and do not call out an individual, but you
yeah.
can definitely say, where are your participants from? Do not do not put in awkward terms here. Um, and I think this is my urge to all the trainers. Please, it is not fun to talk about LGBTQ um, in a fun manner, even if you know that person, even if you talk to that person every day,
Mm-hmm.
and you are
Mm-hmm.
best friends. Your training ground now is not limited to the people that you used to get trained with or that you spend time with. It's now unlimited. Your expanse of trainees and your participants is unlimited. So your credibility, all the time I'm telling all the trainers, please keep maintain your credibility of being a universal trainer. Very, very important.
I see, I
Calling
see.
out people saying that, don't call out anybody's comorbidities. Very, very important. You know, especially in the times like these, definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a trainee who could be joking. There could be trainee who could be having fun. You have to learn to control and you have to understand the personality and behaviors. Of course, there's a different conversation we can have on that, how to manage different personalities in the classroom. So you have to understand to simmer them down rather than cooking them up in the pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
So,
don't think anyone wants to be in the spotlight at the beginning
yeah.
of any event,
Yeah.
right? Or I don't think anyone wants to be forced into the spotlight without them
Yeah.
knowing that it's coming.
True. True.
All right, I see. So yeah, maybe we just have to be more careful with how we treat their differences, right?
Yep.
Uh, it's okay to what's the right term? It's okay to acknowledge it, right?
To acknowledge it, yes.
Yeah.
Acknowledge
But
it. It's
let's
okay.
let's stay there. Let's not
Yeah,
put them in the pedestal or in the spotlight. Let's
true.
just stay there. Oh, I think your camera went around.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. What really happened?
All right. Well, we're experiencing some technical difficulties, but while we're fixing Mr. Avi's camera, don't forget to like, share, and follow us in our social media pages and also our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, and if you missed some of our episodes from the previous weeks, you can actually watch them again there. We upload all of our videos of the Trainers Lounge in the YouTube or in our YouTube page, Circle Logica Group. And while we're here, let's just check some of our watchers or viewers rather. Oh, we have Paula Hizon. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for checking in to our show. All right, and also here we have one here from we have a question here. All right, so we'll discuss your questions by the end of the discussion, and hopefully we can give light on your questions. All right. Let's see, is Mr. Avi okay? All right, all right, all right. Okay, there you go. I think Mr. Avi has come back. Mr. Avi, can you hear me?
Challenges.
Yeah, well, technology when you need it. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I
Are
can
we all
see
good?
you. Yeah, I can see you. All right.
Okay.
So did you switch
Can you hear
devices?
me? I had to.
I see. Well, technology when you need it, as they say.
Yes, yes. As you need it and when you need it, it's always there. So I'm glad at least I have devices that can replace each other.
All right.
I always keep a backup device. Okay. So
Oh.
yeah, we were talking about before that rude interruption. We were talking about awareness. We were talking about how people should be cognizant and careful about respecting each
Mhm.
other. I think that is the most important part here, Kevin. Is that respect, as I said earlier, respect for individual. It comes from within. It comes from the culture that we are in. It comes from the people that we are in. And you know who creates the culture? Us.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
who creates the community?
Us.
So we have to start. So if we feel that there is generalization happening and I want to join in that generalization, I've made my first mistake. I've made my first mistake by thinking that I have to join in. I don't have to join in. I have to challenge the status quo, is what I have to join.
Wow.
That is the thought that I need to.
That's actually something to ponder upon next time we handle a diverse classroom. Well, okay. Well, it is important for them to understand that things are different now, and the way we handle things or the way we conduct things are different now. And I think it's now better for us to understand as well the trainer's view or the trainer's side when it comes to this transition. Although it's been happening for a year now. uh, well, for a trainer, how does one get to know about diverse trainees? What are the things that you can advise them? Right. For example, he has to handle a batch, and should he go out and focus on their diversity, or should he focus on treating them as a whole just in order to finish the class?
Okay. First of all, the trainer needs to be cognizant of what are you training and who all is the course open to.
Mm-hmm.
So when your training gets open and when you decide about your participants, is it open to people across the globe? Is it open to only restricted to certain region? Is it open within certain region? Is it open to everyone? Right? That's the step one. And you should prepare every content in such a way. Now remember, content is already there. What really I want the trainers to prepare for is a little chica chica that they would add, a little conversational points that they will add, right? So for that, my suggestion will be to look at the participant list. Always ensure that at least 2 to 3 days before your session, you have your participants list.
Mm-hmm.
You can go through the participants list. You can understand who are the participants, if possible, where are they from, if that's possible. Like in my organization, it is possible to know where are they from, but you don't get to know the demographics. So for data privacy, of course, we ensure that at no point in time anybody knows what age are they. We don't really have to know the gender of that person, right? Because you have to respect all the genders.
Yeah.
So it's not that, hey, I don't have girls in this training room, I can abuse, or I have a lot of girls in this training room, so we can talk a lot about pageants now. No, that's again generalization of both kinds, and we have to avoid those generalizations. So just understand who are they, where are they from. I think that's enough for us. Also remember, as I said earlier, Kevin, that even if you know where are they from, you never know what they're going to be into, right? You never know if they're really from that place. So one of the key distinctions to make here is to understand that your content should address everyone. Your content should be universal. Again, I'm repeating, your content should be universal. The examples that you use, for example, if you're training on culture, so you're training on, for example, you're training Filipinos or Indians or Pakistanis or Sri Lankans, you're training them on Australian culture. Australian culture remains the same, right?
Yeah.
So Australian culture remains the same. You have to focus on Australian culture now. Don't get into comparative analysis too much. In Australia it is like this, in Philippines it is like that, in India it is like that, in Sri Lanka. Then you will have a host of comparisons that you will have to do. So you have to really define which mode do you want to take, or what kind of training methodology you want to use in your training class. Now for this session, if you decide as a trainer, okay, let's say we have a trainer here who says, no, I like to do that comparison between cultures when I'm talking to them. Also because comparison shows similarity. So some people like to do that, and yes, that's a good idea. So now how do you do that? You take one example of each culture that you think will be part of your session, right? And in the audience, if you feel there is not much interest in that, you should have a backup ready. For example, I am talking about Sri Lankan culture, and I don't have anybody from Sri Lanka who logged in today and did not attend the session today, so I should have a backup of some example from Filipino culture, because I see more participants from Philippines today, or I see more participants from China today, or I see more participants from, again going back to my favorite, Uruguay today.
I see. All right. Well, it is a nice way to get around it, I think, right? Just to make sure to be prepared and well informed, I guess. And I think no trainer wants to go into a training session without, checking at least who are the participants and what they're composed of. But yeah, if you can get into much more research of who they are, what they are, or their profile is, I think that will be best for
That's
you,
true.
especially in handling diverse classrooms. All right. Well,
One more thing
sorry.
I want to add here. Sorry. I just want to add one more thing here. Gamification has taken a new lead.
Yeah, gamification.
Gamification has taken a new lead. It's actually bringing people together. We thought that virtual gamification will probably be very difficult. and it will create a lot of probably different challenging levels, and people may not be aligned. But gamification actually brought people together. We went back to the old times where we used to show pictures to people, we used to show videos to people and present, and audio files are being presented now. There are tools like Mentimeter. Mentimeter does not care where are you from. You can go to the website, it's on internet, and log in and use it. Today there's a lot that is happening in terms of gamifying the programs. People have started using improv, Kevin. I've personally learned improv because I was very intrigued of how it is being done in the virtual space. And so I went into learning it. Sorry, I'm not able to make the device too stable here.
It's okay, it's okay.
You can see continuously I'm just playing around with it or moving it. That was one of those challenges. Zoom is an interesting gamification tool as well, because some of the paid versions of Zoom also have where you can share the screen, you can play a game. Facebook has that. In Facebook, you can gamify, you can play a game. So a lot of gamification is coming into play right now. In fact, gamification, and the second word I'm going to make, Kevin, is simulations. Simulations are creating the entire ambience. So, simulations, right? The simulations are actually what's again bringing the diversity. So you will have people from different walks of life. I'll say that. Let's keep diversity to different walks of life. So people from different walks of life in the same training program, and learn together and see that, wow. So imagine everybody's going through that simulation exercise, right? That business simulation exercise, and everybody gives different responses, and you will be wondering what amazing responses you get there and how people respond to technology. And simulations have become so good now, Kevin. Oh my God, I love simulations now. Even for behavioral sessions.
Have you tried simulations before, or virtual reality?
Yes, kind of virtual reality. Yeah, it is actually without wearing the glasses. So we have only done simulations, of course, on the computer. And there's actually a company called Nonscape which does really good simulations. So a lot of their simulations are very beneficial for leadership programs, agile programs. So again, take up a simulation. I would request the companies, if there are any training company leaders who are listening to me, invest in simulations, invest in gamification. So all your challenges of virtual classroom management, virtual focus, managing focus of the trainees in the classroom,
those things can help.
Those things are going to take care of it, and it will become more. They'll become more accountable, because when you play a game, you take ownership. When you get into a simulation and that's an exercise, everybody's given a task to do there. It's a group activity. Again,
it's yours. Yeah.
It's yours. So accountability really brings in the focus sometimes. Sometimes, I'll not say all the time.
Yeah. Actually, just a sneak peek. Gamification is going to be one of the topics that we will discuss here in the Trainers Lounge. But just a sneak peek. I think gamification is a great way for us to address some of the challenges that we have since we transitioned into the virtual classroom. All right. Well, thank you so much. I think that those are all the questions that we have for today. And let's not forget our audience. I see some comments and questions here. Let's try to discuss or give some light about those. So, Mr. Mikhail here said, any tips or best practices on conducting virtual training with audiences coming from multiple countries? I think this is something in your lane.
Well, we actually discussed that already, where we talked about Uruguay, Germany, and different countries that you come from. The easiest thing to do there is, Mr. Mikhail, is to ensure that you appreciate that they come from these countries. So without, as I mentioned earlier, don't call them out, don't single them out. Don't say that, hey, Kevin is from Germany. Rather than say that, great to have people from Germany, from Uruguay, from Brazil. So complement that. And at the same time, when you are discussing some examples, just look into your examples again. Are they universal or not? Now, remember something like rice. I'm just giving examples of food to see how hungry I'm all the time. So when you're talking about rice is universal, my friend. You can talk about rice all the time. But I cannot talk about, for example, an Indian bread called chapati or roti. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yes, I heard about those.
So it's not universal.
But not a lot of people will know about that.
Not a lot of people, I know people from Middle East. So if there's somebody who's coming from United Arab Emirates, if there's somebody who's coming from, let's say, Qatar, Doha, they would know about this food. Not everybody. I should not expect everybody to know about it. Now, similarly, sometimes in our conversations, we talk about technology, like, for example, let me give you an example of TikTok. TikTok is so popular now. TikTok is in every country. If you go to TikTok, you'll find people from every culture there. TikTok does not care which country or culture you're from until and unless the country or culture or the government of that country has not put a ban on TikTok.
There have been countries like that.
There have been countries, yeah. Those who did that, yes. We had India as one of those countries. So, but there are a lot of Indians, so it's not a problem. So when you are giving examples of some virtual tools or some virtual programs, of course, selection has to be made. So go online, search, do some research. If you're already working with different cultures, do some research. One of the things that I tell people is if you can change your greeting. You start with saying good morning, good evening, but if you can put up a slide, just one slider in the beginning when you're saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, you put up a slide where you have a greeting in each language that you think is in the classroom today. So very simple thing, like if you put mabuhay, you put namaste, you put onigichiwa, so all of these different words, bonjour, just a combination, and you can get it on Google easily. So it's free to use. It's free to use. Do search for free to use always when you're searching for. Yes.
I see. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Next, we have here from Rosette. She's asking, what if sensitive topics are being raised in class by a trainee, right? Not by you, but by a trainee. How do you acknowledge sensitive questions without offending other trainees' beliefs? I think this is one of those things where maybe unconsciously they did not know that it is offensive with the other participants' cultures. But how do we de-escalate that? How do we handle that?
So as I said, you have to simmer it down. Now we're talking about how do we simmer it down. Well, gently you put the lid. First of all, acknowledge it. And if they're talking about, for example, they're talking about anything on earth that you don't want to be discussed in this classroom, because it may lead to challenges, you tell them that, thank you for that question. I think that's a beautiful question, but we'll take it offline. I think we'll not discuss it here because it may just get longer, and we have the entire content to complete. So with respect of time, I'll take another question which will be directly linked to the content. As much as possible, bring their focus back to the content of the training whenever you think that it is getting sidetracked by discussions which may lead to only problems and challenges. So avoid those challenges, avoid that part for yourself, bring the focus back to the content of the program.
I see. I think,
stick to the functional knowledge.
I think as trainers as well, right? We sometimes forget that we have the power to turn down questions or things that are happening that aren't really part of the plan. We have that power, right? And if a trainee asks something that is maybe kind of related but is offensive, maybe we can use that excuse, or we'll say, I think we're stirring off a little bit. Let's go back to the question. But thank you for raising that, and I think that's a discussion for another day. It's just a simple script like that.
Very true.
Nothing too offensive. You did not Well, you did not directly decline their question or ignore their
Yep.
question, but yes,
Yep.
still we have the power to control the topics, the things that are happening during the training session itself. All right.
Absolutely.
All right, so Sir Mikael and Miss Rosette, I hope we were able to shed some light into your questions, and I think that's all for today. Mr. Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us in today's episode.
you.
I had fun. I learned a lot of things, and maybe things to explore as well. And thank you so much as well for sharing your experiences, your thoughts, and your ideas to our audiences. If you want to promote something or to share something with us, you are free to do so.
Okay, so well, Tata is hiring. So if anybody is interested, we have posted a lot of hiring opportunities from Tata Consultancy Services Philippines. Do look for that. We are hiring for financial and accounting. We are hiring for HR, recruitment positions. So there's opportunities at galore. Go ahead and do that.
Wow.
Also, I have a suggestion for these tough times, Kevin. I wanted to end by saying this for the trainers specifically, because you're managing a lot of diversity, you're managing a lot of people in the training room, and you have to make sure that they're skilled, they're upskilled, they're cross-skilled. We create more competent workforce, we create more competent leaders at all levels. I have a suggestion. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself some coaching. Get yourself some, some. Go ahead and maybe learn something about life coaching. Maybe pick up a course which is online, which is available for free, or read about it. Coach yourself. Take care of yourself, your mental wealth. Your mental wellness is very, very important. And have fun. Have fun in the training. Your best gift that you can offer to your trainees and your participants is your smile, your genuinity, your respect that you bring to the trainees. And go ahead and bring that smile out, have some fun, enjoy, because you're a passionate trainer. So keep your passion alive. Okay? Take care.
Wow, that was so nice. So life coaching, yeah. I actually started looking into it, and yeah, I believe it is very beneficial for us, especially during these hard times. Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much again, Mr. Abhishek. I hope we can still invite you again to this show. Maybe in the future we'll have some new topics to talk about. I hope your door is always open for us, or for you to join us here. All right. Well, thank you so much, and to all of our viewers, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much again, and goodbye for now, Mr. Abhishek, and see you next time.
Take care. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone. Have a safe day and stay safe. Thank you.
All right. And there you go. That was Mr. Abhishek Chatterji, and wow, a lot of information for today. Well, yeah. Even though it's a new thing for us, even though it's a new thing for a lot of industries, it's best to be adapted to the new normal. It's best to be adapted and prepare ourselves in the new setting. We don't know when we'll go back to the normal ways of doing things, but I think it's also best for us to prepare ourselves and our companies and our skills, for the new normal. And that's all for the episode of Trainer's Lounge today, and see you next week this Wednesday, same time. Same schedule, same place here in Facebook. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow our pages. Again, our videos are available at YouTube. You can check our page there, Circologica Group. On Facebook, you can also check our page, Circologica Group, and also CLDP Philippines. That's all for me. Again, my name is Kevin, and this is the Trainer's Lounge. Goodbye for now.